Hi, my name is Alex Martinez. This is my CEHC Showcase presentation. The topic I have is analyzing the human aspect of cybersecurity. Human security focuses on human behavior and decision making that affect data protection, privacy, and threat mitigation. Instead of trying to examine the technical aspects, human security is to show how people interact with technology, make mistakes that lead to data breaches, and how hackers exploit human behavior. Whether the mistakes are intentional or unintentional, human mistakes are always exploited by cyber criminals. This will always be a problem in cybersecurity because even the best technological defense still have the biggest weakness: humans. We'll just go right into it. So this is the agenda today. I have my introduction, my problem, my solution for the problem, my implementation of the solution, my evaluation / testing, and then my challenges and iterations. So for my introduction, this topic focuses on analyzing the human aspect of cybersecurity. It primarily focuses on the human behavior and decision making that affect data protection, privacy, and threat mitigation. Instead of trying to examine the technical aspects, human security focal points to show how people interact with technology, make mistakes leading to data breaches, and how hackers exploit human behavior. I chose this topic because in my opinion, and I think it's a consensus for everyone in cybersecurity that humans are the most weakest link in cybersecurity. So I thought this would be a great topic to explore. So the problem goes into human security weaknesses, focus on non-technical vulnerabilities like social engineering and insider threats. This is mostly like phishing attacks, mostly that I'm focusing on. Like attackers use manipulation, trust, human emotion to bypass security measures, like social engineering attacks, phishing attacks, those kind of things. And then the third one is targeting humans. Like this affects security awareness, security culture, decision making, over resilience. As shown in the paper, you'll see that targeted humans, this gets them nervous, gets them emotional, and they don't really make good decisions. And overall, they just decline from these kind of attacks. So my solution for this: one would be security training, short personalized modules on phishing, social engineering, and insider threat awareness. This also is highlighted in the paper that I want to make it more personalized and gamified, so the employees can have more fun with it, and it's not so demanding on them. Whereas if it was something more I feel like not gamified, they wouldn't really enjoy it as much, and they wouldn't really be thrilled as much to do it. My next one would be AI-powered behavior monitoring. This analyzes user behavior to detect unusual or risky activity. And then lastly would be the zero trust model, enforces access and controls requiring verification for all data interactions, especially for high sensitivity data. This also includes MFA and adaptive MFA. You'll also see this in the paper. Next would be implementation, how I implemented all of my solutions into this plan. So first would be security training. I integrated into daily workflow, tailored to departments, and incentivized for engagement. As I detailed before in the paper, it would show how it would be gamified using maybe Try Hack Me or Hack the Box, which are gamified modules that you could do to help with your cybersecurity awareness and your cybersecurity knowledge. So I thought that would be good. Another one would also be rewards for them, which is why it's incentivized engagement. So they could get maybe gift cards or maybe time off when they complete all their work. Another one would be AI monitoring, set adaptive thresholds for alerts, leveraging real-time analyst feedback for refined detection. So this one, AI monitoring, we did with tools more or less. I think I'm not too sure of the tool name, but there was a software tool that had a lot of good feedback on this. Gave you real-time analysts for feedback, and you could refine it on the spot. Next would be the zero trust model. This phase rollout with adaptive MFA applied based on data sensitivity. This one also we rolled out with, I think, departmentalized. So we started with departments that required or that had access to highly sensitive data, so it would roll out easier and stuff like that. So this is the evaluation phase of the PowerPoint. This is the evaluation for the security training. So to evaluate how effective the security training was and all the other parts of the training, for the security training specifically though, it'd be to reduce the phishing link click-through rates by 50% in 6 months. And we also want to conduct tests/quizzes to test the knowledge of the employees. We want to achieve a 70 to 80% pass rate on post-training quizzes. This is to improve recognition of and responses to cyber threats, and also strengthen organizational preparedness for attacks. This is very important because it evaluates how effective security training is for the company, but also how effective it is on the employees, on how to improve also our security training in the future, just based off these evaluations of how it's going so far. So this is the evaluation phase of the AI behavior monitoring system. To evaluate this one, we would collect logs on flagged anomalies. Some of these would be behavior type, detection time, and the actions taken during this. We also want to track the false positive, which were non-threats flagged, but also false negative, where we actually missed the threat. Our goal would be to achieve an 80% detection rate within these 6 months, and we also want to maintain a false positive rate below 10%. We want to evaluate because we also want to ensure quick identification and mitigation of potential security incidents, but we also want to reduce the risk to CIA triad, which is very important because this one stops insider threats, but also outsider threats that could pose major threat to the CIA triad, and this is one of the line of defense that's meant to stop that. And if we cannot maintain a false positive rate below 10, then or an 80% detection rate, then there's something wrong with the system, and we'll just readjust that as we go along. Lastly would be the zero trust model. The evaluation from here would be tracking the number of unauthorized access attempts that were successfully blocked. The goal for this is to have a 95% block rate at an unauthorized access attempt. I also think it's important to see the rate of users who complete MFA during access attempts to see who actually is using it in the company. The goal would be to have and maintain a 95% MFA compliance rate. It would also be important to do penetration tests to simulate insider threat and unauthorized access attempts. Verifying if zero trust controls are effective blocking evil access. I thought this was important to highlight. As I said before, this evaluates how we measure the zero trust model and our goal for the zero trust model. And hopefully this one is also taking into account MFA, which is what we want, a compliance rate of 95%, and we want it to maintain at a 95%. It wasn't like the other ones where we would just want it to be here over a period of time. This one we want to have and maintain at above or at 95% compliance rate. So the challenges and iterations resistance to training overcame with shorter modules, incentives, and leadership leadership endorsements, which were So some of the challenges we came into was resistance to training. I feel like this one could be because a lot of people already are resistant to the training. This comes with people being not wanting to do it on the job because it interrupts their job, and sometimes yes, they do have it in between their jobs, which messes up timelines sometimes. So we wanted to make it shorter, incentivize, and leadership endorse, so like supervisors can endorse it more. Another one would be false positive in monitoring for behavior monitoring. This would be, the amount of false positives we're getting while monitoring and stuff, which I think at first would probably be at a lot, and then we'd have to just readjust after a certain period of time. And then we have the zero trust one. This zero trust resistance, zero trust resistance, because you do always have to take into account that the amount of when you do zero trust model, that there is a lot of stuff that goes into it, like having to take time to always do MFA, which probably gets annoying, which we ended up iterating out by using an adaptive MFA, which is only people who have higher access to sensitive data would be required to do MFA if they were trying to access that sensitive data. So we went around that. We also thought phase implementation. So instead of just doing a worldwide one, we did phase one. So it'd be IT, finances, those type of people who deal with sensitive information all the time. That's why we did that one. And that was everything. Hopefully you have enjoyed my presentation of everything, and hopefully it came out nice.